Bye.
Well, that happened later on in this video. But anywho, hey guys and gals, it's Mini Chocobo, and welcome to another loot from video. I decided I would go ahead and do a loot from 3000 Moss Giant video just because it kind of lined up with episode number 1 of my Iron Man completionist series. I wanted to get the Bryophyta staff, which will allow me to smuggle in nature runes into Trouble Brewing, and once I get a Tome of Fire plus that, I'll be able to alchem there. Also, I needed to get 5 beginner clue items, so this was a double win for sure. I got my first one and got to fight the Bryophyta boss. I did not know what to expect. I was way more scared of this than I should have been. The only notable damage he really does is with poison, and you just pray magic and you'll be pretty fine. Even lower level Iron Men / normal accounts can do this pretty easily. He is a free to play boss after all. The drop rate of the Mossy Key is 1 in 150, and the drop rate of the unique from Bryophyta in the collection log is a 1 in 118. So on average, I'd have to kill 17,700 total Moss Giants, which is a long time. I decided to go ahead and do this in the Catacombs of Kourend for 2 reasons. The first being I will have a chance of getting all of the totem pieces to fight Skatizo, meaning I have access to hards and elite clues, as well as potential master clues. Number 2, and the main reason, is because when you use a Bone Crusher here, you get 2 prayer points back for killing each Moss Giant, so essentially I had piety for a very long time, and most of the time I wouldn't run out of prayer before getting a beginner clue or a Mossy Key. Also, it turns out that Moss Giants drop a ton of beginner clues. The bright side of going dry on the Bryophyta unique is that I'll most likely be able to complete the entire beginner clue collection. And of course, I will save all of the caskets for the second half of this video. One of the most tilting things about beginner clues is I swear they are actually more difficult than easy clues. They may not have as rigorous requirements, but they do have one pain in the butt step, which is Charlie the Tramp. Charlie is known as the Iron Man bank waster. He makes you use like 20 or 30 spots in your bank if you want to do him efficiently, and that's really annoying. You'll notice how my inventory has kind of shifted from having food in it to just having literally every item just for Charlie the Tramp. Something pretty interesting was the Bryophyta actually sometimes does not spawn any minions which you have to kill with an axe, and sometimes it'll spawn 2 sets, and I don't know why that is. It's kind of annoying when he spawns the 2, but it's really nice when he spawns 0, so I guess it kind of balances out. I'm a tad bit suspicious on the drop rate of longbones inside the Catacombs of Kourend. As tweeted by Mod Ash, it is a 1 in 400 chance to receive a longbone from any monster that drops big bones. Also, you have a 1 in 5,000 chance of getting a curved bone, but that's not really relevant to what I'm discussing right now. The only reason I'm a little bit suspicious is I did end up receiving 15 longbones, which was exactly double the drop rate, and for that big of a sample size, I felt like it probably is actually double. I probably will end up experimenting more with this because this could definitely be a construction method for lower level Ironmen to pursue if that's the case. Kill number 1000, I was already at 33 beginner clues. I think that if I didn't do the beginner clues, I could have at least doubled my kill rate per hour. In the long run though, I know it would be a waste of time if I didn't do them, and also I had that task to get 5 beginner uniques, so I was going to do every single one. Right around 1300 kill count, I managed to complete my first Dark Totem. Something I found rather amusing is that I actually had been hunting the Dark Claws for a while, and my previous kill I finally got them, and by chance I got them, I guess, back to back, and I also got a Hardened Elite with that, which is just crazy lucky. And as I do with every loot from video on my hardcore, I went into the wilderness just because I didn't want to drop any of the clues that I received from the video, and unfortunately I did run into somebody. It turned out to just be a guy in red D-hide. I don't know what he was doing though, because by the time I went out of the resource area, he was gone. I thought he might have been killing hellhounds, but maybe I scared him. The fact that he was gone kind of scared the crap out of me because I just always know that there's always a chance that it's a scout. He didn't really look like one, but you never know. I didn't have anybody helping me, and I didn't even have my main here scouting, so it would have been kind of bad. Luckily, I did bring my lockpick just in case anything did go south, but if there is a big enough team, that lockpick will not save me. So for a little bit of backstory on the next audio clip that's about to happen, I was doing Moss Giants for the Bryophyta's Essence, while Kate was doing Hill Giants for the Obor Club. And normally I never record record audio, but this was just too damn funny to pass up. So originally she was looking at her loot tracker on RuneLite and noticed she had missed a giant key, and she was really upset about it. But then she looked a second time and realized she had also missed looting a champion scroll, and she was so shocked by it, it gave me nearly enough time to turn on my recording. I didn't make it for the full rage, but this is just a portion of it. It was great.
No.
She did end up getting a second champion scroll, so I don't mind adding this in because it's not too mean. It's just kind of amusing. The day before this, she was flaming me for my Vorkath kill. It was all friendly banter, of course, but I just was like, oh, karma is so sweet. Something I found that was pretty cool was a lot of you actually came up to me in game while making this video and were like, hey, I watch your stuff. It's pretty cool. And thank you to all of you. That means a lot, and I look forward to making more content for you to watch in the future. If you are looking forward to my Iron Man completionist series, don't worry, I think I have all the clips for that except for one task, which is being very annoying. Also, a big thank you to Tedious, who is actually the person who created the spreadsheet that I'll be using, and he said it was cool for me to use it, so very appreciated. I'll go ahead and thank him in the actual video, but just something to keep in mind if you are looking for somebody else that's doing kind of similar idea as me. He's the one who created it, so thank you to him again. Regardless of if I get the Bryophytus essence or not, I'll probably end up coming back to Moss Giants fairly soon. In the Warding development blog, they announced a Tome of Air as well as Tome of Earth from possibly these giant bosses, and since I had already planned on doing Bryophyta and Obor, this would be a double win. I'm very thankful that the Moss Giants in the Catacombs of Kourend are actually multis, so you can actually just poke each and every one of them with your obby weapon and just kind of AFK for a little bit. By chance, I happened to actually have been streaming this one day, and I got my biggest viewer count ever just because of Xzact RS. He's the dude who completed an Infernal Cape at level 50 combat, and it made me feel really awkward because I still have a freaking Fire Max cape on both of my accounts. Huge thank you again to Xzact. I'll go ahead and link his Twitch and YouTube in the description. Also, I got back-to-back elites from Skatizo. In my last like 10 totems, I swear I've had 8 elites. And I did get another wilderness step right off the bat. I wasn't too worried about this one. It is a little bit annoying going through 40 wildy in multi, but I knew that the chances of running into somebody were very slim in this day and age. I was actually more worried about running into a singles team than I was running into random people in multi. At this point, I should mention there are some notable drops from Moss Giants besides the Longbones, Mossy Keys, and Beginner Clues. First and foremost, you have a chance of getting the Giant Champion Scroll, which is a 1 in 5,000, so if you do need that song, this is definitely a place to consider doing it. Also, they happen to drop a sizable amount of Ranar seeds, as well as the occasional Snapdragon seed. Also, I would consider bringing a Soul Bearer here, because they do drop a notable amount of ensouled giant heads. Last but not least, they drop a couple of types of runes, mainly the nature and cosmic runes, as well as some law runes. Long story short, you're probably going here for Mossy Keys, Longbones, Beginner Clues, and Ranar seeds, and everything else is just kind of a little bit of a bonus. I started getting very unlucky when it came to getting the Mossy Keys. I continuously was getting the Beginner Clues, as well as a ton of Longbones, but for some reason, I was quite under the drop rate on the Mossy Keys. Something that turned out to be a little bit frustrating was the fact that I stopped getting as many clue scrolls as well. I originally started with 1,000 kills and got 33 clues. However, by the time I reached 3,000 kills, I only had a total of 82 caskets, which means that I was getting significantly less than that initial amount. Something I will note though is that this grind wouldn't be nearly as exhausting if I wasn't doing the clue scrolls. So if I ever do finish Beginner Clues, I'm never going to do any extra because you could do this way faster, I think. So in total, I only did receive 12 Mossy Keys. Keep in mind, I got a 13th kill because I got a Mossy Key from the boss himself, which has a 1 in 16 chance of dropping it. And I actually stayed for a couple of extra kills because I wanted to say thank you to this guy who, right as I finished up kill number 3000, showed up. Also, if you're wondering how I got an extra casket over the 81 that I should have had, I had 1 in the bank the entire time, so it was a total of 82. In terms of what uniques I was seeking from Beginner Clues, honestly, I was just going for completion, so anything was really cool. If there was one I would prefer to get, it would be the parrot on my shoulder, but other than that, I guess the mole slippers and then also the sandwich lady outfit are pretty cool. Also, if you're wondering why I was freaking out over the black weapons and the black armor, they are twice as rare as any unique from beginner clues. By chance, the very first item that I did receive was the shoulder parrot, which I was quite happy to get because this is the coolest beginner clue item by far. And to get it first is really cool. I don't think there are any free-to-play capes that give bonuses actually, so this guy would be the best in slot technically. I guess it's shared with every other cape. Also, as you can see, in a little under 40 clues, I had already received 4 uniques. Unfortunately, I did get those monk robes T, which was a duplicate item. Going back to the black armor and weaponry pieces, I'm pretty sure on my main account when I opened 332 of these at once, I only received either 1 or 0 of them. And this is where the loot really started to pick up. I got my first piece of the sandwich lady outfit, and then back to back, I got mole slippers, 2 items which are just crazy cool looking. But the luck did not stop there. I ended up getting the sandwich lady bottoms, which were to match my top, of course. And I did manage to receive 1 more unique item, which was very fitting for the channel to match my bare head, the bare feet. And unfortunately, as I mentioned before, these last 5 clue scrolls didn't have anything in them. I remember in my beginner clue video, I always said all of the loot from these would be relatively worthless, and it's kind of a shame that I was right. The parrot was the most valuable item at a mill, and it's now only 250k. He is really cool, but just being a cosmetic, they're naturally gonna go down to almost 0 value. And unfortunately, with the way bank space is on Iron Man mode, I can't really afford to keep this in my bank to use randomly, so it's gonna stay in the house forever. Last but not least, I did have those 3 hard clues and 2 elites from Skatizo, but unfortunately my video file I cannot find to save my life, so I still have the RuneLite screenshots thankfully, but unfortunately I apologize for not having a video for these guys. I really don't know what happened to it. Here are all the items from all of the clue scrolls that I received. I decided that this time I would not keep all of the junk from the beginner clues, just because I already had a video of me keeping everything from 332 of them, and it really wasn't worth anything. I also kept all of the junk from the hards and elites, of course, because that stuff does add up. But let's go ahead and do an initial price check. Please keep in mind, I did leave the law runes out of here and left them for my second price check because I got a bunch of law runes from moss giants themselves. I'm not 100% sure if the 1.1 mil approximately will be reached, but we'll have to wait and see whenever I go ahead and sell this in the GE. Also, for those of you wondering how much combat experience I gained, if you include the prayer and hit points, I gained a little bit over 1 million. In total, I gained 720,000 attack XP though, with a little under 80k an hour. And I ended up with over 1.1 mil, which was very surprising to me. I was for sure I was going to get less than what the price checker said. Here's price check number 2 with all of the notable moss giant drops, as well as every drop from Bryophyta. Most notably, of course, are the Ranar seeds coming in at a little over 1 mil, and then everything else combined comes out to be another mil or so. Just remember as well, some of the runes do come from clue scrolls. However, most of these did come from either Bryophyta or moss giants. And after selling off the final couple items, I ended with a total cash pile of 3.172 million. And honestly, the most expensive things I used during this video were my super attacks and strengths, so this is almost pure profit. And last but not least, these 15 longbones are a free 67k construction XP, which is definitely no small number for accounts such as Ultimate Ironman, as well as new Ironmen trying to cheaply train their construction, or in this case, actually getting money for training construction. That's gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. I thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon with my first Iron Man completion progress series. P.S. If you're also the guy that saw me right before the system update in Varrock Bank, I'm sorry I didn't respond. I actually saw your message right as I hit the logout button. Oops.